Only a 12th level intellect has the slightest hope of surviving what you are about to experience.
3, 2, 1, clap. That was the clap.
Someday we gotta keep the clap in the recording.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this day. Who knows?
I don't know. It is not this day.
Did you did not see Venom, right?
No, I didn't. Did you?
But you don't. Yeah, but you don't care if they spoil the entire movie.
Spoil it away,
okay.
man.
Well, I'm not gonna do it right. I'm not gonna do that right now, but I can do it later.
Later. That
in
sounds
the
good.
Comic reliefy kind of portion.
And I'll be spoiling things that you haven't read, so that's just fair.
Well, no, but don't do that for Doomsday Clock because I'm going to read it when we're done recording.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, man, you still haven't read Doomsday Clock.
I know. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Sorry. People that turn their volumes down to hear us. Welcome to the 12th Level Intellects podcast. This is a podcast called 12th Level Intellects. We've been doing this for over a year. We've still not, figured out really a cohesive intro to this. I'm James, and that's Ted.
I'm Ted. And that's James.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. I wasn't sure. There was that one funny episode where we were each other, but we're not doing that again.
Not today. Today is not that day.
What? No.
I'm doing
just
that.
Just bring it back every time. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll come. That's not the last time this episode that I'll probably say that.
I like how we had to be like elementary schoolers during a time where there were popular characters named Aragorn, Aragon, Aragog. There's probably more. And I never knew who was what, and I didn't care, and I don't really still. So anyway,
there was Al Gore. Al Gore was a big one.
The boring one. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So today we're gonna be talking about the first episode of Titans. I know the second one's out by now, right? No, today's Friday. No, today's Thursday. It's coming out on Friday. By the time you're hearing this, the second one's already come out, but we can't time travel yet, so we haven't watched it.
And we've talked about things that probably didn't come true.
We made some predictions that I'm sure will all be correct because we're really smart. So,
exactly.
All right. Well, you have news and I don't, so go ahead and I'll sit here silently while you talk about it.
Well, I don't have much news, and one of them you can kind of help me with, actually.
No, I said I'm sitting here silently.
Well,
we've established the rules of the game.
Well, today is not that day that you will be sitting silently.
All right.
So the first piece of news, the CW is doing their annual superhero crossover coming up, and it's called Elseworlds. It's going to be very multiversal in composure. The Monitors have been cast in it.
Oh,
it's
really?
What?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
yeah,
that's cool.
Monitor. At least a monitor.
Okay.
So we're going to have a monitor.
You're talking about the monitor.
Not the anti-monitor.
343 Guilty Spark that runs the Halos, right? That's what you're talking about?
That sounds about right.
Delta,
yeah, not the one from
Alpha
Crisis
Halo?
on Infinite Earths. It would make sense to have the DC character in a DC show.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot more sense to put the Halo character in there. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
that's sure. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's why I said that.
I know.
So.
That's why you're right.
Thank you.
So they released these promo images where one of them is really cool. You see Oliver Queen as the Flash and Barry Allen as Arrow.
I thought that was weird ass fan art at first. I think most people probably did.
Yeah. Well, so you actually shared with me a second one
was
that
fan
I
art,
didn't understand. Oh, it was fan art. That's why I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't know who these people are. Like, I didn't reply to it because I feel dumb.
It was Oliver Queen with Supergirl hair and Supergirl in the Green Arrow outfit, wasn't it? Is that what it was? Yeah. And
no, I don't know. It didn't look like that, but I guess maybe it was. I had no idea what you were trying to show me. What is
this?
I was like, somebody is Supergirl, but I don't recognize them. So anyway, I just wanted to bring up that promo image. That should be a really cool crossover. I don't keep up with the shows anymore. I just watched the crossovers, at least as of last year. Even though I want to. I wish I did. I don't know. I'm excited about the Batwoman show. I'm going to give that a try.
I'm already upset that The Flash has started again because I was happy to be done finally watching the last season. I am always so behind that it takes me like an extra month or two to finish it. And The Flash already started. I think Arrow's starting this week or next week. I don't know. But it's like, come on, man. Give me a break a little bit. Because I have to watch them. So You
I
know?
guess this is kind of like a part B to this piece of news, but I hear that Tyler Hoechlin, is that his name, who plays
sure.
Superman in the Supergirl show?
Mark's wife calls him Tyler Hoochie Lin. Because he got
well,
like a
that's what
Hoochie
we'll
Lin.
call him.
I don't know. I don't know.
Hoochie Lin.
All right.
Well, he might get his own Superman show for
Yeah,
the CW.
okay, yeah.
They're talking
I
about
heard about
developing his own show. That could be pretty cool.
Does you see that picture of him in a black Superman costume?
That's right. He's going to be in a black costume for the Elseworlds.
And there was just that comment like, Stephen Amell, you can't just post Superman in a black costume with no caption. you have to explain this.
Pulling a Zack Snyder on everyone and taking it out later. I don't know. But yeah, so that's one thing. Another thing that's happening is the Flashpoint movie for the DCAU is getting moved. It's getting pushed back to 2021. And rumors are that Ben Affleck is totally done being Batman.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Stuff like that. So it should be interesting to see.
We think that a lot, but I think this time it's for real.
I think it's for real. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. He did not have a good career as Batman. No.
He played Batman well in one movie. Maybe two. His Suicide Squad Batman wasn't terrible, but it was, I don't know. Kind of
Kevin
pointless.
Smith went to Instagram last week and posted a photo of him and John Hamm that was kind of like hashtag BatHam and being like, I want John Hamm to be Batman. And honestly, that's great. That's a great casting choice.
Yeah,
so
he's
maybe
a suitable replacement, I think.
Yeah, if they do like a sort of reboot thing with this Flashpoint movie and they recast Batman, which I think they should do, I have no problem with that sort of approach. He'd be an awesome choice.
I remember, like, for a long time, I thought the Flashpoint idea was dumb because, like, even up till, like, a week ago, because I was like, what the hell? You don't even have faith in your own thing? But really, like, it's such a mess. It's a
historical thing to do for DC. We'll have an event that reboots things and lets us start clean. And you need that every now and then if you mess up your continuity. So.
Well, it's like... I didn't really realize this, but I don't think Man of Steel was originally intended to be like a jumping off point into a MCU for DC. Like it was just a like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies were just Christopher Nolan wants to make Batman movies, and so he did. And then Zack Snyder just wanted to make a trilogy of Superman movies, essentially, with different characters or whatever. And then, but then they're like, no,
really
we got to
happen.
use this. We got to use this as we got to catch up. Like, oh, okay. Because they tried to do that with Green Lantern also, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. That didn't work out so good.
It did not.
I don't know.
I saw a report today on bleedingcool.com that Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, he said that they shot so much footage for the Justice League movie that it could have been 2 movies worth of stuff. And apparently a lot got cut. So that was the article of it was like, there's not a Snyder cut. There's 2 Snyder cuts. Was the article I looked like, or that I looked at. And it was, I mean, that's not really true that there are 2 different versions of the movie, but that there was enough footage to maybe fit 2 movies worth, which is similar to what Jared Leto said when he recorded his scenes.
The Joker stuff, yeah.
For
there was so much
Squad.
Joker stuff, yeah.
It's the same sort of
it's
concept
all
there.
I do wonder when actors say that, how true it is, only because like
right,
they're there for everything, but like,
do they have a sense of
is their perception of it like correct? I mean, not to say that some are not like in tune
script
to that
analysis
enough,
is a real thing to do. So actors gotta know.
I just mean if my movie that I've been filming, the end battle scene has 5 actors playing like 20 characters, so we've had to film every shot of that like 4 to 5 times. And if you were one of the actors, you'd probably think like, God damn, this is a lot of movie right here, but really like all that's going to go by in like 10 minutes. So I don't know. I believe that there probably was a lot of the movie we haven't seen. So.
I was telling our composer the other day, Adam Mullen, that we should maybe do an episode coming up soon where all we do is kind of plug our own creative endeavors, and we don't talk about anything else
in the future.
It's just a selfish, greedy episode.
Yeah, and that'll get a total of 234 views, I predict.
Which is a chunk of views. It's more than we started off with when we launched this channel.
I was at a friend's house for a couple days these last couple days, and we were just scrolling through YouTube, and it recommended to him the Mask of the Phantasm timeline, and at the time it had 18,000 views, and they just stopped. Like all of us were drunk, just sitting around in his living room, and he just stopped to go like, "Whoa, like." None of the videos we ever made got this much. Like it's getting so good for you, James, and all this stuff. And I was like, well, thanks. I'll agree when I feel like it has.
Yeah.
People will see the channel and be like, man, you guys deserve so many more subscribers. Like, this is the most subscribers I've ever thought I would ever have. This is amazing.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Don't go away.
Yeah, as long as just stay. If you're listening to this, don't ever leave, or we'll find you.
Exactly. I had one more piece.
Okay,
of news.
yeah, go do it because I don't have anything.
Okay, this is a bit of a sort of an ongoing discussion we've had about, like, it's kind of in that same realm of James Gunn and how he got fired from Marvel for Guardians of the Galaxy. Hold on, let me let my cat out of the door.
I was trying to figure out what you're doing.
I know. He'll be back.
Someday we'll have a
always
podcast room that
back.
We actually record in, and we can have all the pets in there with us all the time, causing lots of messes.
That's the goal.
Good for the podcast. Okay.
So, along the lines, okay, this is another case of a creator getting kind of unjustly fired for something that happened on Twitter.
You're teasing me so much. What is it?
And in this case, it's Chuck Wendig, who's a writer for
I don't know who that is.
Marvel's. He's one of he was a novelist first who started doing Star Wars comics for Marvel,
Okay.
and so he has a book called Shadow of Vader that was really successful, really critically acclaimed, and he was just fired from it because he took to Twitter to defend the book from a bunch of rabid trolls who were like really angry at him for introducing an LGBTQ character to the Star Wars universe and the series of books.
Same thing. Yeah.
Right. Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. And so, yeah, I think I haven't actually read the tweets. Maybe I should look them up just to
There was a box of Kleenexes at the store that had Thor on them, and then right next to that it had the Olaf from Frozen, and then right next to that it had Darth Vader, and I thought like, oh man, they just own Disney owns everything. They're just side by side. Like, do you remember how we own all these properties? Oh yeah, thank you for the reminder.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't read the tweet that he actually did, but he said something nasty back to the trolls. Like, he defended himself and defended the reason why he included characters like that in the book. And it's kind of an instance of Comicsgate, like really similar to Gamergate, where these just right-wing, like hardcore just trolls just try to slam anything that might be different or unique.
Do they just not like what he's doing with Darth Vader? Is it?
They don't like introducing LGBTQ characters to the Star Wars universe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's those dumbasses.
Yeah, those guys. So,
I shouldn't say that on. Well, no, I mean,
you don't have
to say that.
fuck them, but
yeah,
but it's still. So he defended himself. He defended their inclusion. I didn't read the exact wording he did, because it seems like he probably attacked them back.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck them, right? But still, Marvel let him go. They fired him for it.
The cat's back.
And yeah, he is. Welcome back, cat. That's cool. But yeah, I just wanted to say that that's an ongoing sort of cultural thing that's happening right now, especially with comics, with video games, with creative types in general, having to navigate this online sphere and having to be really careful about what they say, or else they're going to lose their jobs if they piss off the wrong fan, which is kind of crazy.
The same people, the same friends, I was just talking about how like Marvel apparently part of your contract as an actor for the MCU movies is like, at any time they can ask you to go make like an appearance as that character, like a children's hospital or something like that. So it's like you are obligated to do that, but it's also kind of annoying that that's like a thing that you have to do or whatever. But it's like it's such a good thing. Like, you know, you shouldn't be upset about it. So like on one hand, it's like, yeah, Disney's doing such good things, you know? There's, you want to meet Spider-Man? Here he is, baby. But then at the same time, it's like a little bit shady that they like force you to do that. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
I personally am fine with it. I
that,
just mean like it's like a Disney thing. Like Disney's in charge of everything, so they're like you can't say no to flying over to Cancer Town. But
Cancer Town. Flint, Michigan.
What? Yeah,
Flint, Michigan. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Their water still sucks.
See, this episode's gonna get the low view count. We're
I know.
bashing so
Sorry.
many people.
I went there.
Yeah.
On the topic of Marvel too, this just came to me. I didn't write this down, but Black Widow is getting her own movie, and Scarlett Johansson is getting a really big payday for it, which is awesome. I think it's $12 million that she negotiated to star in that movie.
That's probably still like a third of what Robert Downey Jr. makes. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know for sure, but
I'm glad.
I think they're treating her right. Yeah.
I hope that they dive into like all the weird stuff about her past that we don't understand. Because it's on one hand, it's like, oh, I like the intrigue, but on the other hand, like, what's the ballet thing? What's the shooting thing? What's going on?
Yeah,
tell me what's happening.
Things?
Yeah.
Why'd you dye your hair? Bruce Banner.
Why do you cut your hair every Avengers movie?
I mean, that's kind of cool. I'll give her that.
I prefer long hair Scarlett Johansson. I don't know.
Yeah.
But every Avengers movie she's short.
I think I like Iron Man 2. I like the curly.
That's the best one. Yep.
Okay.
That's the first appearance. Welcome to 12 Level Intellects, everybody.
Which Scarlett Johansson do you like best? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, send in
best
your
Black Widow
recommendations. All right, so is it time to talk about Titans with Joe Kendrick?
Yeah. My little brother's gonna join us.
That's cool. In the past, and now it's
gonna in the
past, Days of Future.
What's up, Beyond fans? Benjamin David here from the Above and Batman Beyond podcast. Just got to interrupt the 12th Level Intellects real quick here. Sorry, but not sorry, guys. That's what we do here in New Jersey. We interrupt people. Good luck getting in a word on the East Coast. Just kidding. Just up in New York, Comic-Con. Speaking of New Jersey, met my hero. Felt like an 8-year-old kid again. Peeing my pants. I literally told the voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy, who I just ran into the dude at Comic-Con. I told him, I was like, I'm going to cry. No, I'm not. And he goes, thank you. Batman friggin' thanked me, guys. So if you're a DCAU fan, I wanted to promote my most recent episode of Above and Batman Beyond. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, BatmanBeyondPodcast.com, and future episodes as well. The show is from the future. Batman, you know your shit. It's Batman Beyond. So future episodes are going to be coming. I do have one more left from Con. I did an off-premises interview with a podcaster named Omar Spahi, and he is a writer from LA. He has a podcast called The Dreamers Podcast, and his dream is to write for DC Comics. So to fulfill that dream, he has a podcast and he interviews comic creators. So I was lucky enough to he let me do my show in his super fancy setup. Lights. It looked like the friggin' Joe Rogan experience. Awesome. But this past episode, not only did I meet Kevin Conroy, but I, due to my con hustle, got press access to interview clips from New York Comic Con of Batman the Animated Series Blu-ray. So they remastered, as listeners probably know, the Batman the Animated Series, the original Batman the Animated Series, and remastered. It's on Blu-ray, so they were promoting that at Con, hence why Kevin Conroy was standing there waiting for an interview, and I awkwardly fangirled out on him. But they also had a whole panel and press interviews. Again, due to my con hustle, C506.net, shout out to C506. I was handing out business cards. This guy, Johan from C506, took a liking to me and had me come back on Monday. I met back up with them. Artist of Harley Quinn, John Timms, ate lunch with us, and this dude, Cody, from 30, who is a collectibles company for marketing. And yeah, they all like me. He's like, yeah, we're going to send you stuff, and we're welcome to the team. So point is, I then not only got Kevin Conroy to do the send-off of my show, but then I got 6 interviews, clips from that press event. So Tara Strong, the voice of Batgirl, Kevin Conroy for even more content, the voice of Batman. Eric Radomski, huge early influence on Batman the Animated Series, art direction. He's the guy who, again, listeners probably know this, but when the Batman the Animated Series was first drawn, the backgrounds, it was his idea to do it on the black paper, with the light colors versus, dark colors on white paper, which was the original industry standard. So huge influence. He was there. Bruce Timm. That's the ultimate interview, though. Like, dude doesn't do fan interviews. Ask anybody. Ask the gentleman with the podcast here. So that was such a get for me, and I cannot believe I got an interview clip of Bruce Timm for like 5 minutes on Above and Batman Beyond. So I had to promote that, and also any DC collectors, I got a DC Collecticast show. So search for that, iTunes and the Anchor app. So thanks, guys, and check out our website too, batmanbeyondpodcast.com and comicbookintl.com. That's the network where you're going to find all the Bat-related shows. Thanks, 12th Level Intellects. And again, not really sorry for interrupting you, because your show rules. I wanted to be on it, and that's how we do in Jersey. Peace.
So today we got a guest on the show. It's
Hello,
my
everyone.
little brother, Joe.
Hey guys, it's his little brother Joe.
Hey, little brother, Joe.
So Joe is famous for that Batwoman remix that you've heard in 2 different
Right.
videos by this point. So
Ooh, it's been on 2. I didn't know that.
I didn't know it was on a second one either.
yeah, the
Where's
Batwoman
your
Trivia
royalties?
Tuesdays that we did recently. Yeah.
That's right. I'll have to show you that later.
Right.
Well,
Research to do.
I got him here today because he's visiting me in town, but we're also going to talk about the new Titans show that just premiered on the DC Universe streaming app. And it was definitely a show.
That's a show.
It passed the test of whether it's a show or not. That's
It had
very
not to.
true.
I've never seen a version of Titans like this before.
You
But
guys just watched it like an hour ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fresh.
So you've had a little bit more time to digest it.
Yeah, I watched
You've had,
it
like-
at lunch. Yeah. So
Okay.
where to begin?
Let's start at the start.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Wonderful place
It starts
to
with
start.
Raven.
Right.
And she's just in her room, just being all emo.
Being all
What is her name in this? Rachel?
Rachel
Is that a
Roth.
comic? Is that a comic
It is.
pseudonym for her? Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of her secret identity name
All right.
for forever. They all have their secret identity names
Yeah.
from the comics. Even Starfire, who's Corey Anders.
Right. Yeah. Like I did like that. Was that something that she's done like in a Thor, Thomas Blake or whatever kind of way, where she just makes up a name that's sort of similar to her name? Or
Yeah, I mean that was her secret identity in the new Teen Titans comic.
Okay.
From the 1980s.
Joe,
But
what
it's
is your-
definitely
what is
Yeah.
Joe's like comic book background at all? I don't
It's
know.
much smaller. It's probably a solid 2%. I feel like of 10.
I like to think he's sifted through my library a good bit though.
It's sifting.
Well, I'm at like 3% of Ted's knowledge, so it's okay. We're in the same ballpark.
About the same. Have you read much Titans, Joe?
Not as much Titans comics. I'm
Yeah.
more familiar with the show.
Okay,
Or-
like
yeah.
the 2003
Right.
show and then Teen Titans Go and all that.
Right, more along those
The
lines.
best
That's my
interpretation.
exposure.
Well, we had
this
joked
is-
before about how this Titans show is like the answer to people that hate Teen Titans Go for being too silly or whatever. And I don't
We were
know.
just talking about that.
Polar opposite of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
What
could be
could
more
we?
gritty.
What would we not do exactly? Yeah, on the Teen
Well,
Titans.
we're not
Go
gonna
cartoon, yeah.
scrape people's faces along the
Across
charred
glass, yeah,
glass window.
and bricks.
We'll get to
yeah.
that. Yeah, that was. Well, we'll talk about it now. That was an amazing fight scene.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was
Well-
the introduction of Robin.
Okay, so we had seen the trailers being very like CW.
Which,
not-
to be fair, it's produced by Greg Berlanti, who does
Okay,
all those
okay.
CW shows.
But it's also Jeff Johns produced, I think. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
like, what is
That's
it? Where
true.
is it gonna fall? Yeah, but
And
we saw the previews for it being very Riverdale-ish. Like it's just really moody on purpose and stuff. I didn't actually think it was as much like that as I thought it was going to be in the actual show. Like it felt a little more like a normal TV show than I thought it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be too cheesy and over the top on purpose, but
I agree with that.
yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was. I mean, it had its moments for sure, but I
Yeah.
thought it was pretty well balanced overall.
Better than expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Robin in particular, that I mean, the whole thing from the trailers, that it was the fuck Batman line.
Yeah. Which came across better in the show than it did in the trailer. Like, in the trailer, it was very just, like, out of left field. What the hell? Because he says that right after they're like, "Where's Batman?" As if that's his response to that. But then in the show, it was actually more of like a... Like,
after the fight, he was shown him.
Yeah, he doesn't like Batman at this point, like, which wasn't necessarily apparent in the trailer. So
yeah, I saw it coming though when we were watching that whole scene. I was like, wait,
this is where he says
talking in the room. They're like, oh, this is great. I was like, hey, here it is.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, he turns toward the camera, and I was like, oh, he's gonna say it, and then he turns away from the camera for a second, and then he turns back. Okay, now he's gonna say it. So,
yeah, I was waiting for that line.
Did you notice my favorite part of the episode was when Raven is eating a bowl of cereal where you can't see what the name of the cereal is. In every shot, it's a different letter of the word Tricks is covered by like a chair or a glass or something. And
I definitely noticed she was eating Tricks.
Yeah, but it was like so obviously purposely covered up for copyright reasons. Like, no, it's not a cereal that you know.
I don't know, man. It was obvious to me. I actually thought about that when I was watching. I was like, they must have released Tricks cereal.
It was always like
Twix
or Ricks or something. Like, you never saw the full thing. Yeah.
That's funny.
Silly wabbit.
I did not catch that.
Well, you'll have to watch it again, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
My eyes are not attuned.
Yeah, these are producer things. When you produce things, you have to look in the background and be like, oh,
yep.
There's a label. There's a label.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, not to put any labels on the show, but let's do that. What do you?
Well, speaking of like have like cinematic eye for things, I guess is like I can't help but look for cinematography stuff nowadays, and I actually was kind of impressed with how good the show looked. Like, I was really thinking it was going to look a lot cheaper than it did. Like, especially like the VFX on Starfire's fire looked pretty okay, and the guy turning into Ash looked pretty okay. Like,
that was fun.
It was way better than the Supergirl or Arrow Flash special effects. So I don't know.
By far,
that was surprising. Yeah,
the Robin fight scene, and like hit the opening shot where he leaps across the roof.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
We
awesome.
never see Robin actually throw one of his little Robin R's. Every shot that he throws it, he just goes like halfway with his arm, and then it cuts to the Robin R like smacking into something. And I was like, can you not throw a thing? Is he not trained to do this? The actor.
I mean, yeah, I could see that being tough. I'm sure all that CGI though.
Maybe
all the R's. Yeah. The R's.
At least a couple shots. Yeah. He has to shout R whenever he throws it. Yeah.
I wish that this... I guess I'm spoiled with Netflix, but I wish it had just like dumped as an entire season.
Yeah.
It's weird streaming something and being like, well, I still have to wait another week. But that's why DC Universe is milking people for their subscription.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I noticed that the second episode, like the thumbnail is up, but you can't click it yet. Like, you can't watch it yet. Yeah. And it's called Hawk and Dove. And it made me think of how the Justice League Unlimited episode about Hawk and Dove was also called Hawk and Dove. And I was like, can you not come up with any more clever of a name for a Hawk and Dove themed episode?
It could be.
What are their names? What are they called?
It could be Order and Chaos, because that's their whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
See, that's Hawks. Already a better name for the episode.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Ted.
Do you think that Dove is going to be revealed to be Dick Grayson's partner at the Detroit PD? Because she's got blonde hair.
Yeah, okay. That would make sense.
I kept thinking the whole time that maybe that was her, but
by the time that this podcast episode comes out, I believe the second episode will be up, so we'll sound like fools if it's not.
Right. It's speculation.
How wrong we were.
Yeah.
And then
for sure.
I didn't expect Raven to be as supernaturally weird like this early, I guess. Like, I thought maybe she would be like, oh, something's wrong with me, but I don't know what it is. But then she already is just like, I have a weird demon version of me inside me, and that can come out of me and kill people. And
jump into other people's mouths and come back out as vomit.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. The whole first scene, actually, we were talking about this, and I was like, that like Raven doesn't have a mom. Like, I mean, her mom is like a priestess or something from a parallel dimension. It was
Azarath.
Yeah, Azarath. Not Metreon, not Zinthos. No. And so it's like, well, that's like, is that her mom because she's from parallel dimension or whatever? And then
Joe
soon,
said.
Yeah, what did Joe say?
And Joe said maybe she's adopted.
Wow.
And you were sort of right, I guess.
Right? It's definitely not a real mom.
No, it was not her real mom. That was a very early plot point.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah, it was very
in
quick.
the head too. That was that's when I knew the show was like, oh wow.
Yeah. That was the
eye.
first moment of like over the top violence. I think. I think that was before the Robin fight. I think that was the first instance of like, Jesus Christ, what is this? What's happening?
This is not Teen Titans Go.
Well, and similarly, like the trailer when they show Ravens having like dreams about the Flying Graysons, it still seemed very tongue-in-cheek, overly dramatic, but in the show I thought it actually came off kind of well. Like, okay, very basics of my reaction to the Titans episode is that I thought it was going to be bad, and then it wasn't that bad. And I don't know, maybe that's
felt
not
the same way.
Okay, because
No, it was.
Maddie was talking to us about how much he hated every little violent moment and all this stuff, and like he mentioned
to be
how
fair,
like
everybody kills somebody.
Yeah, that's okay.
Except Beast Boy.
So he had a really big problem with Robin, like, you know, breaking the guy's hand and shoving like a knife through the guy and all that stuff. Or no, he shoves like the gun barrel through someone's neck and stuff like that, or the hammer, I mean. But it was overly gratuitous, but it was like, oh, at this point he's like just so angsty and fed up with Batman that he's just like, I'm not going to play by Batman's rules anymore. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And then that was okay to me after that. It was still like, it didn't feel like a Superman snapped Zod's neck. Like, that's not my Superman or whatever. It felt like this seems natural for Robin at this point in his life to do these kind of things. But
yeah.
And maybe he'll soften up a little bit throughout the series.
It didn't seem like straight up murder as much as it was like he's in this huge group battle.
Yeah, I actually really like the shot where he like, it's a really long shot of him just like uppercutting people and then he like extends the staff into two guys. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. We cheered.
Yeah.
We cheered when that happened.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Beast Boy's scene was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We were trying to guess when that first started about what animal he might be rummaging around the store.
Guessing.
I was thinking mouse.
It was a very strange choice to just be a tiger. Yeah.
A green tiger.
Well, because there was the parrot on the TV screen.
Yeah, that's why. There was all this green imagery in the background, and there was a parrot on the branch.
He took a really long time to turn back into a human boy. Right. Like, I was thinking, like, is this going to be every time he transforms? Like, give me 5 minutes. Hang on.
Yeah, well, I got to readjust here.
All my bones crack into place, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very werewolf.
And that, I think, was probably the worst effect of the whole show was the tiger, but it was still better than I expected it to be, I guess. Like, a tiger on... You know, when they do, like, Grodd on The Flash, it just looks so bad. But when they did this, I don't know.
Yeah. Or King Shark.
Yeah, that's actually probably the worst one is the shark, yeah. Starfire,
Really interesting backstory.
Yeah, I was okay with it. Actually, like, it was another one of those I didn't think I'd like this because everybody sees the pictures of her and she's like dressed like a prostitute and she's in a weird fur coat and all this stuff and everybody's like, that's not Starfire. But then, like, I don't know, it doesn't need to be the same as you expected. Why do people care so much about this?
She's not Starfire yet.
Yeah, I guess.
Nobody's called her that. She's Corey Anders. Right. And she didn't even know that.
I thought it was weird that she had lost her memory to the point where she didn't know what was going on or who any of the people were, but she could still, like, speak Austrian or German or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember this, but not anything else.
I like the scene where she goes back to the hotel and the clerk there is like, can I send you anything up?
Yeah.
Same thing as last time?
Oh, you're going to make me blush. Yeah.
Talk about herself.
Yeah.
Send her on up.
Well, that was the only part that I was weirded out by the murder, was that she just, like, gets the information out of the guy from the closet and then just breaks his neck. And I was thinking, like,
Like, what's the point?
Is that okay? Because if you didn't know this was Starfire, it's almost setting her up like the villain. And that might be what's like, I think that would be cool if that is what's happening. Like, that they have to actually, like, teach her to not be a murderous alien or something. But I don't know. Maybe she's not even an alien. She probably is, though. But
well, didn't they talk about Raven being, like, the guys that were after her were somehow sent by one of Starfire's guys or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
The people who are looking for Raven, they're definitely associated.
Yeah.
Like, the people Starfire was with and the people after Raven. But we don't really know a name for them yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a group.
Well, he's the people she burns. I think someone mentions to her that the name of the guy was Konstantin Kovar, and he's
an
actual character. Like, he's in Beam and Arrow,
wondering.
and he's in something else. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the same
if he's
actor
got,
or anything, but
like a code name or something, like not KG Beast, obviously.
Oh yeah, like a super villain name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either. He's
Some
an obscure
12th
one.
level intellects. Who else? Oh yeah, Beast Boy. We talked about. He was in it for like 3 seconds. But I was actually kind of hoping that they wouldn't show him, because they kept just kind of like just shove all the characters in the first episode feeling. That's like if it had been even just Robin and Raven the whole time, I would have been okay with that, and maybe tease them at the end or something. But that's okay. Beast Boy fans were let down by this first episode.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still like a good first look.
Yeah.
I thought I was happy to see him personally. Well, yeah, Joe, you haven't gotten to talk much. Do you have any predictions on where this might go?
Well, if the second episode's out when this is out, then I'm going to say already, I loved what the second episode did with Cyborg.
Nah, he's not. I don't think they cast a Cyborg for Doom Patrol for that show. Yeah. But we don't know if those shows are in the same universe, because it seems like they have a different Doom Patrol cast for the Titans show already, so it's a little confusing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, oh, you could just cross those over really easily, but I guess not. Yeah.
Well, they definitely have Hawk and Dove.
Do we think that's maybe why they made Starfire be an African-American actress, is because there's no cyborg? Like, they wanted to still have that diversity in there? Because that's what they did for, like, Jon Stewart on Justice League on purpose or whatever. I had that thought while watching it, but it also just could be that, like, people were complaining about that originally, but, you know, she's an alien. She has orange skin, like, or, you know, normally, so it's like she wasn't white to begin with. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's the same as Martian Manhunter. How he has green skin, but they're both sort of like black characters in their own way. Just if you think about the sort of like origins of them, like they're from another world and they are refugees here on Earth, and they have to sort of like it's kind of that like narrative of being trafficked away from your home country, brought to a new place, and having to
have prejudice against you and stuff like that. Like I've been I'm on the 3rd season of the Teen Titans cartoon right now. Like that's so I've been watching that again, and there's like several episodes that are pretty heavy, like about Cyborg like being not accepted, and it'll always be because I'm half robot, but it's like underlying tones of like, oh, we know what you really mean by that. So I wonder if that'll come into play with this at all, because she is already like dressed like she is and stuff. So.
Do you think her sister's gonna make an appearance? And if she does,
will they call her Blackfire?
Yeah, that's we'll see. I guess
that's the question.
It's a little awkward.
Dangerous
Says the podcast full of white guys.
I was gonna say we should probably get off this subject. You know, we don't really know what we're talking about, to be honest. Was there really anything else? I liked that. At first, I was weirded out that it was in Detroit. Cause, like, this is a real city. Like, usually Titan stuff's in, like, a fictional city, like Bloodhaven or Jump City or whatever. But that's... it makes sense, I guess, if they're going with the gritty, realistic, blah, 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 to be like, it's in a city that you know is bad, or whatever. So.
Detroit has
no offense to anyone in Detroit listening to the podcast.
And Detroit has a lot of, like, DC history in it, too. You have the Justice League Detroit. Yeah, we're there with Vibe and Gypsy and
Jon Stewart
and all that.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart, he lived in Detroit. I think Cyborg did for a little while too. But I have, I think I know where the first season's leading up to. It's going to be a showdown with Trigon.
Yeah, they're definitely hinting at that pretty hard. Like, they even brought up, like, the whole portal thing where, like, you're the portal to let Trigon in, which was, like, what I just watched, like, a week ago.
Did they name drop him?
No, I think they just said, like, he will come and you're the doorway or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah. I'm not going to go back and check. But it was something like that.
I think for a Titans show to be successful, you also need to have a Deathstroke in there at some point.
Yeah.
It would be pretty cool to see Manu Bennett come back from the Arrow show.
I think there was a rumor about them doing Judas Contract in the show, or a version of it anyway. So
I'm sure they
probably
will.
have. Is the character's name Judas? What is his name? Jericho, right?
Yeah, his son. Yeah. And then obviously Terra and all that stuff wrapped up into it. Yeah, I mean that seems like a given. Maybe Brother Blood. He's a pretty cool Titans villain who's kind of tied into Trigon and some stuff like that. That's who I thought that Konstantin Kovacs guy or whatever, the guy who was like stabbing the hearts for a minute. I thought maybe he was Brother Blood for a second.
Oh yeah,
but I don't think he was.
I think it's safe to say that this show is aimed at like teenagers still. Like I think that it's meant for maybe like late teenager aged people, because obviously they have to be able to like be allowed to watch the show or whatever, but they're young enough to where, you know, the first thing that happens is I thought my sound wasn't working correctly. The WD logo comes up and then it was just Titans, and I was oh good, this is what this show is going to be. Oh no. And then, but then it was okay, but it still has that undertone of like, yeah, this is a angsty teenage thing or whatever. So
yeah, I mean it is the Titans. It's Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Surprise territory.
It's kind of weird that Robin stays as Robin and not Nightwing, because he's like, fuck Batman, but I'm just gonna be Robin still. I guess.
I was thinking about that.
I mean, he'll probably transition later in the show.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
do a Young Justice 3-year jump or something.
Yeah, you never know. If they, in season 2, if they add new members, I want you both to tell me which 2 Titans you'd like to see added to the team. That's obvious.
I don't know. I like Speedy would be good, like a Roy Harper version of some sort, because I think that could fit pretty well. There's ones that wouldn't fit very well, like Bumblebee, or ones that are more super powery, I guess, but they are doing Starfire fire hands, so
I think they could handle
possible.
Bumblebee. Especially in a world with Ant-Man and Wasp, like those special effects are kind of, we've seen them in a movie now.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be hard to follow that up, I guess, or like you have something to compare it to. But then again, you also have Flash and Superman and all that stuff that we see in both TV and movies. I don't know what my second pick is. I'll have to think about it while Joe tells me both of his.
I will pull the same as you. I would like an Aqualad.
Ooh, that's a good.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see it, especially after the movie.
Right after the movie, make it tie in.
God, I don't know. I don't know Titans enough.
I'll go next. I want Static. I want to see Static.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
they're doing Black
awesome.
Lightning. People are aware of that kind of thing.
Another Berlanti show. Like we don't know which. Yeah, I mean, now that they're establishing the Elseworlds sort of multiverse stuff with the upcoming
Batwoman.
crossover, it seems like all these shows could potentially lead into each other since they're being produced by the same person. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I'll do a Titans crossover with Supergirl so that you have to get DC Universe to see the half of the crossover.
Stargirl might be an obvious one. That'll be my second pick just because that show's coming to the streaming service and Jeff Johns is a big force behind it. And also James Robinson. I'm really excited about that. James Robinson's the guy who wrote the Starman comic. He's like one of the leading writers of the Stargirl show. So that makes
Joe
me
and I
excited.
nod and smile. Yes.
You got to. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Starman. Like that makes me think like maybe they'll bring in the Shade. Maybe they'll like have Solomon Grundy be in there because Solomon Grundy ends up being nice. He's like his best friend in this comic. It's great. So I'm hoping they go all to all
Like
those
Solomon
places.
Grundy.
Yeah. Born on a Monday.
Born on Monday.
Maybe they could do like a in the cartoon, Gizmo kind of becomes a good person, sort of, from the Hive people. So maybe someone like that, a character that is a villain for a while. Maybe it's Starfire, LOL. I don't know. They'll probably not do that. I'm probably reading into Starfire killing someone too much, and that's just what people do in this show. But it would be kind of cool to have her as like season 1, or at least the first few episodes or something. Like she's too dangerous, and then because even when she appears in the cartoon, like when they first meet her, she's a lot more combative and like, get away from me, and shooting people and all this stuff. Right. And then they have to kind of calm her down and be like, this is Earth and it's okay. So I don't know.
What about romances? Because usually Robin and Starfire are together, right. And this is definitely a teen show. So they're definitely going to start connecting eventually.
Well, so far they've started connecting Robin and Raven, sort of. Yep. But I don't know if that'll be I mean, the age gap might be too big for the characters, at least what they're supposed to be in the show.
Like a big brother, little sister sort of relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
And typically in the comics and even the show, I think Beast Boy and Raven end up connecting.
Yeah. I ship it,
I ship it.
There you go.
I don't know, I want some Terra action, I'll be real.
Yeah.
I want to bring her in.
They got to go there. And Deathstroke, I bet they saved that for season 2 or 3.
They keep showing in the images and trailers and stuff that like it's going to be, Robin, Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire. Those are the 4 main characters, but I wonder if Hawk and Dove will also be like part of the main team and not just like a one-off thing, because they've, of the characters they released like official images for of their costumes. Hawk and Dove was like one of the first or second one to be released, and and it's one of the more like comic accurate costumes, so it'd be kind of a waste to just be like, look at it and now goodbye. But maybe they're only showing the 4 that you recognize the most because they want you to watch the show more because of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Hawk and Dove were ever in the animated series.
No.
Like, besides Justice League Unlimited. But they're definitely Titans. They were around in the comic books for a while. So.
I wonder if they'll do a similar, since they're kind of starting like Batman v Superman style, like in the middle of this universe, like there's no build up to Robin leaving, he's just already gone. Maybe they'll have a similar like, oh yeah, there was a different Dove, but he died, and now it's the Lady Dove, like usual. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible.
If they
that Dove, the guy was Hawk's brother, like his actual brother, and then this girl is like they're unrelated, so they have this romantic aspect between Hawk and Dove, not just like.
It's possible that lady, his partner lady, is Dove. Maybe we're gonna sound like idiots if it's not, but it's maybe more possible because she keeps like ragging on Dick about partnerships, and if she also has a partnership,
exactly.
It's like, why show her off if she's not gonna do anything?
That's my thought. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But it won't be. It'll be.
I think it's likely.
Well, we'll find out in 3 days. I don't know.
Very true. Well, do we have any closing thoughts?
I give it a B-, I guess. Like I look forward to the next episode. I didn't think I would, I guess. So
I felt the same way. Yeah.
Me too.
Screw you, Maddie. You don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't like it as much as the B-.
I thought it was much better than expected. I was expecting a strong D-, but I'm giving it a C+.
Okay. So it's still
expecting
passes,
a T, a giant T tower.
Wow.
A Titan's tower.
Ted's got the jokes.
I always do. I bring the jokes.
How do you live with this your whole life, Joe? Like,
it was hard.
Ted making dad jokes constantly and saying words wrong all the time. Like, how do you?
I had 10 years of them before he got booted off.
That's right. So. I was about to say I moved out when he was 10 years old.
Okay.
So
Did he say things like words wrong when you lived with him? Like, was it a constant like, oh man, that's not how you say that?
Joe did. Joe, I gotta tell the story on the podcast.
I'm down.
Joe used to not be able to say the word fish.
Oh, very wrong.
Instead, he would say shit. And it was hilarious. We would take him to seafood restaurants, and I pointed at the wall and be like, Joe, look at that fish. Look at that shit. And he would.
Was he like? Is this
hilarious.
like a little kid funny thing?
Yeah,
or
yeah. It was like
okay.
two or 3 years
I thought
old.
we were talking like, yeah, he was 15 and he just couldn't say fish, and I was like, oh.
Well, apparently I just can't say names.
Yeah, or any other word. Yeah.
And you're an English major.
Yeah, I was literature major. That's when you write it down. Yeah. You don't have to say it out loud.
There's plenty of words I've only seen written. I understand, but you know.
Yeah, you don't have to read. You don't have to say every word.
I still
You
get
just
to
have
make fun of him all the time. So.
Well, you and everyone else.
Yep.
Well, all right, James.
Yeah, I guess
we'll
that's
let you
all we
go.
have to say. I mean, it's not a lot to get out of one episode, but it's enough to get a good idea of what it's going to be like, I think.
And
gratuitous
violence was
Yeah.
gratuitous.
I did watch an interview from the Comic-Con that was just happening where someone had interviewed the chick playing Starfire about, like, are we going to see you in the Starfire normal costume? And she didn't say, like, yes, but she was like, you know, we're going to take it slow. You'll be happy or something like that. So I understand that, you know, they're not just gonna be like,
they gotta reveal she's an alien.
Yeah,
Right.
well, yeah, I guess if you didn't know anything about these, that's kind of what they're trying to do, because like the cartoons just starts off with they're already a team, they're already in all their normal costumes and everything, and they've been a team for a little while or whatever. So I'm glad that we get to see the formation. And yeah, they did that with the Graysons poster also. Like, oh, he was the boy from the dream. And I was like, yeah, I know that, but maybe you didn't.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, looking forward to the next episode.
For sure. I wonder if Starfire's going to start the next one not remembering anything from the first one. That could get old
every
really
episode.
Quick.
Yeah. maybe it's like a what is that? 51st
Memento. Oh.
Yeah.
Mementos,
Same
which
movie.
has alien tattoos all over her. Just to remember.
Yeah. She burns it into her own skin. Don't
Burns it
listen
into
to
other
his
people's
lies
skin.
or whatever. Yeah. Don't trust his lies.
All right.
Okay,
That's
that.
Titans.
Interrupting again, Benjamin David from Above and Batman Beyond. I was so excited, I left out 2 of the interviews from Comic-Con. Interview clips that I got, the BTAS interview clips. Lauren Lester, the voice of Nightwing / Robin. Dick Grayson, Robin from Batman the Animated Series and Adventures of Batman and Robin. And then when he came back as Nightwing. And then Diane Pershing, the voice of Poison Ivy. Oh my god. So yeah, not sorry for interrupting. Peace.
I did it for you. You can't do it.
You did it for me. Oh, now we're back. Wait. Psst, now we're back.
Yeah, there we go. How else
Okay.
would I have known? So you want me to tell you about Venom?
I do, just to follow up with what we just said about Titans. Jeff
Okay.
Johns, I heard, said that the show is going to show Robin's transition into Nightwing.
Okay.
And that's kind of cool.
I think
guess.
I was expecting that, yeah. I mean, he's like
Yeah,
Nightwing.
me too. It's kinda
at this
obvious.
point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He
it's...
seems like a very old Robin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's a detective. All right, cool. So comic relief, here we are.
Yeah, okay. I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever this is.
This segment of
it's
recommendations.
a comic movie. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna spoil Venom. So if you're listening and you haven't watched Venom, do that ?
Should I really go watch Venom?
Well,
Like, was it a good movie?
I would watch it again.
Okay.
So we start out. It's you see outer space, just stars, and it was like creepy music and stuff, kind of like an alien. Yeah.
I'm doing the Star Wars theme song.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, it's so it like, you know, like most alien movies start off with just space, and the title like really slowly, like piece by piece, comes in,
And then there's a bunch of letters flying through the sky.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the green, what are colors? The yellow scroll of text. It's the Republic is blah, and the separatists have no. So
The symbiotes have arrived on Earth.
so by the way, this isn't a Star Wars movie. And it's not Venom, a Star Wars story.
Oh.
It's Marvel. It's owned by the same company. I see why you would be confused.
No, it's
but-
not though. It's Sony.
Oh yeah. Fuck. Well, anyway, so it's space. There's a distress call. You don't see what the ship is until it's already like you've already like know it's just crashing. So you're like, why do I care about this at all? Why do I care about these people? But then it turns out it doesn't matter. Like they don't have really any impact on the story. The CEO of Bad Corporation Incorporated is like, go to space and get some symbiotes that we know are there for some reason. Come bring them back. One of them gets like escapes inside the ship, I guess, and like so it crashes. So it takes over an EMT who, as she's walking away, my friend Will pointed out what I didn't notice, which was that her ponytail is over the M on her back of EMT, so it just says ET on her back, which was kind of cool. Yeah, I hope that was on purpose.
Is it a nod to the movie E.T.?
Oh, of course. That's.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Remember that part in E.T. where an alien sludge monster inhabited the... Okay, anyway. So
you're thinking of Alf.
So there's this particular symbiote who has inhabited the EMT. The EMT goes this back and forth. We're seeing scenes of Eddie Brock. He's a reporter. He's got his own like YouTube show or something, his internet show that he does. And
Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock, not
not that
Topher
70s
Grace.
show. Yeah. And so it's back and forth of scenes of Eddie Brock and like EMT symbiote, and it's hopping person to person. It kills a bunch of people in like Chinatown in the city, and then inhabits an old Chinese lady, and then that lady goes and walks off screen, and then there's a 6 months later time jump. Eddie Brock has been fired from his job for being too nosy to the evil Corporation Incorporated bad guy. So he gets fired, and it jumps 6 months. And then the next time that you see the symbiote, it's still in that old Chinese lady, like 6 months later.
What's she been doing?
I
for
don't
6
know.
months?
That's what we laughed so hard at in the theater. Was like, it's been 6 months.
Why didn't he jump to somebody else?
Yeah, I don't know. So then it jumps to a little girl.
Could have done that 6 months ago.
I know. I don't know. It's in an airport. Jumps in a little girl. The girl gets on the plane. And then the plane flies to San Francisco, where most of the movie takes place. And then that symbiote goes into the bad guy. And that's half the movie.
Maybe there just wasn't a flight to San Francisco for 6 months.
I don't know. Yeah, you could just
doubt
go from person to person all the way to San Francisco. Would probably have been the faster route. It wouldn't have taken you 6 months to get there.
Take over a truck driver.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so
plot hole.
I think it actually is going from like Malaysia, where I think that's where it started. So maybe it still.
So it was actually China and not.
Oh, you're
Chinatown.
right. Well,
really,
I think so.
Okay. Anyway,
the movie is such.
I'm getting you stuck on the wrong part.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's the most unimportant part of the movie. But anyway, that one ends up being Riot.
It's important to me.
That one ends up being Riot, which is, I guess, a different symbiote bad guy character. Like, there's Carnage, there's Venom, and there's also one called Riot. I guess.
Is Carnage in it too?
Well, we'll get to that. So that's that's like the first half of the movie. This movie is 2.5 hours long. It's Infinity War length. And
wow.
But it did not feel that long as it was happening. Like, luckily, somehow, I don't know.
Do you wish it was shorter?
No, maybe slightly. Okay. There was like a couple moments where like, okay, this joke is done. Please stop. But there were not a lot, surprisingly. So that's good. That's like the first half of the movie is just that symbiote getting into the bad guy. What mixed with scenes of Eddie Brock doing reporting stuff, and then the Parks and Recreation money please girl, I don't remember her name, but she she's like a scientist at Evil Corporation, and she's like, Eddie Brock, hey, come with me, they're doing bad stuff, you got to report it, you got to get it out to the world. So he's like, okay, I hate this guy, I'll come with you. So he goes there, and he sees his homeless friend who he had been like he exchanged a few lines with this homeless lady at the start of the movie that's like his best friend or something. And they've been rounding up homeless people to test symbiote reactions on, like, can this symbiote merge with this person? And so Eddie Brock goes in and he's like, "Oh, my homeless friend, what are you doing in here?" And she's like, "Help me, get me out of here." And he opens the door for her. He breaks the door open, and then she leaps on him, and that's how Venom gets into his body. She's like, "JK, I was Venom." And it turns out...
How do you know?
I
Are
don't
there any
know.
like telling signs? Like it's not in their eyes?
No, it's
or-
well, on her it was just nothing. She was just being kind of schizo a little bit, and that's about it. But it's a little bit vague, like why Venom merges with Eddie Brock so well. Like they just say it. They just say like, "Oh, this is the perfect match. I finally felt like it works." And so the bad guys are like monitoring the fact that he has it in him, and they're like, "Oh, it's a perfect match. Like, oh, we found it. We finally did it." And but meanwhile, Eddie Brock's just running around his apartment, like eating a...
It's like Tinder. It's swiping,
Yeah.
swiping left on the homeless
This is-
lady,
this is-
on the
yes, this is the
EMT.
Venom booty call.
There he goes. Finally a swipe right. Finally a super like.
This is this is the superhero movie we've been waiting for. So Eddie Brock is at his apartment, and he's hearing Venom talking inside of his head. So in this movie, I don't know if this is a normal thing, but Venom is not the combo of Eddie Brock and the symbiote. Venom is just the symbiote, and Eddie Brock is like the dude wearing an Egger suit. And I don't know if that's a normal thing, because I feel like
I think it is.
whenever Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3 got the symbiote, he just became bad guy Venom. Like he was Venom. But maybe that's normal. Maybe what this movie
I'm
did
not
is
up
normal.
on my
Yeah, I
Spider-Man,
don't know.
unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not sure either. But I always imagined it was kind of like the Hulk, where Bruce Banner and the Hulk are kind of totally
It
different
is very similar to
personalities.
that in this movie.
Yeah.
So Eddie Brock's going around his apartment. He's like eating a bunch of weird stuff. Like he eats out of the garbage, and then he eats some frozen tater tots without being cooked. Like he's just constantly hungry. And he goes in the bathroom, he throws up, and then he looks in the mirror, and it's like, "Eddie!" And like he flies backward. You saw that in the trailer. And then the bad guys come over to like, "Hey, we got to get the symbiote back. That's our property." And Venom fucks them all up. Tentacle shoots out of Eddie Brock's arms and is like, "Now we're gonna murder all these people." And he's like, "Why? I don't want to murder anybody."
I remember that in the trailer
and,
too.
But then there's a big car chase with the motorcycle, and he does the thing where he flies off the motorcycle, and then the tentacles go, and he goes back onto the motorcycle. But it was a much better done shot than what's in the trailer. The trailer shot looked really terrible CGI wise, and I was not looking forward to that moment. But it was a lot better
They fixed
in
it.
the actual movie.
That's good.
So that happens, then the cars all crash and he flies off the motorcycle, and that's the moment where you see him like get up off the ground and the face comes over his face for the first time, and he's, "Oh, I'm going to eat your legs, and then I'm going to rip your arms off," and then blah, blah, blah. He says all these terrible things. Then he eats that guy's head. No, he doesn't. He throws that guy away, he eats a different guy's head. Sorry about that.
Okay. Whoops.
I know you were
Sorry,
confused.
guy.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
So then he's just on, like, most of the rest of the movie is him just on the run and trying to get back into the bad guy corporation to take the bad guy down. And then at the end of the movie, the bad guy who has Riot in him is going to, like, shoot a rocket into space with him on it so that he can go get all the other symbiotes from the symbiote planet and come back and
Like
just...
Carnage.
Yeah, and just come back and just take over everybody's body with symbiotes. And
So it's leading it open for a sequel.
kind of, but the rocket gets destroyed, so he does not succeed. He does not succeed. Most of the movie, like most of the good parts of the movie, are just when Eddie Brock and Venom are having conversations with each other, and he's like, he like deciding whether or not to let Venom take over, and sometimes Venom just takes over without his permission and stuff like that. But by the end, they have like a mutual like okay with each other thing, which was a little bit forced. That was my only that was my main complaint, I guess, was that Venom just decides to be like a superhero basically. Like for most of the movie, he's just this weird ass like, you know, if you don't eat food, if you don't feed me, like I'm just gonna start eating all your internal organs as food instead, and it's like threatening him and stuff like that. And then as soon as the other bad guy symbiote's like, "I'm gonna go to the symbiote planet and get those guys," then Venom's like, "Oh, I don't want that to happen because reasons."
Because
Like there's
probably because he doesn't want to share the world with other
I guess
people.
maybe, but so they fight for a while. There's a big CGI DC Comics movie fight in explosions and lasers and stuff, and
Classic.
he kills the the bad one. And then you think Venom dies because there's a giant explosion. But he didn't, I guess, because at the end of the movie, he's still like hearing him in his head and stuff. And so I guess it's just implied that, oh no, it's not implied. You do literally see him come out again at the very end. So, but then
I have to ask,
yeah,
is there Spider-Man?
there
Tom
is
Holland
not.
in it
There
at
is
all?
no reference
that's
or,
sad.
yeah. I was kind of like, I was 50-50 whether I wanted it to happen or not, because on one hand, it would have been cool to see, because they were like, oh, that means I guess it's in the MCU. I don't know. But at the same time, it's
Sorta,
like,
kinda.
it would have been a little bit like heavy-handed. Maybe it shouldn't be in the MCU. Like, this doesn't feel like it should be. It feels like it's not a terrible movie, but it's like, I don't know, it feels different. It's like if Amazing Spider-Man was that's part of the MCU now, or instead of New Spider-Man.
Well, maybe Venom's part of Amazing Spider-Man.
I don't know. Oh, maybe.
I don't know either.
Yeah, the mid credits scene is Eddie Brock going to a penitentiary, and what's his name from Zombieland and Solo, and
Woody Harrelson?
yeah, and Cheers.
Nice.
He's in.
What's he doing there?
So he's in a prison cell, and he's got red curly hair, and he's like, hey, I'm a serial killer, and if I ever get out of here, there's going to be carnage, and that's the end of the movie.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was a little
Nice.
bit on the nose, but it was also cool. My friend Joe ruined that for me because he was like looking through the cast and was like, oh, Woody Harrelson's in this movie. We're like, oh, who does he play? And then it was just whatever the alternate identity of Carnage is. And I was like, God damn it.
Nice.
but it was so
That's
cool.
cool,
Yeah.
though. That's good casting.
Yeah, I mean, now that you know the whole movie, I would still say it's worth seeing.
I'll see it at my local like $3
Sure,
movie
yeah,
theater.
yeah. Get it from
My little
Redbox or
pizza.
something. Oh yeah, no, go do do the pizza beer theater. Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
yeah.
I've got a coupon. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a movie that happened.
Yeah, it was way better than I expected. It was still not like a great movie, but it was. I think I enjoyed it better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. That was kind of a boring
okay.
movie.
I kind of did enjoy Ant-Man though. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And
thought it was alright.
it was definitely better than The Predator, which you also didn't see. So, as we all know. Well, that's my Venom analysis. I give it a C+. So
Okay.
I kind of look forward to watching it again. Like I left with a little bit. Venom's always been a cool character to me. So like that was
really cool design
that
wise.
was the other thing I was gonna do. I forgot I was gonna do that. Right after Spider-Man 3 came out, what year was that? 2008. So no.
I have to fact check you.
Find this out for me.
2007.
2007. Okay, so I was a junior in high school, and I wrote a review of it right after seeing the movie. And it was mostly about my problems with Venom. And this is before like I would have been influenced by any like internet like reviews of it. Like this is just my own thoughts of it. I wish I could,
Sure.
find this stupid thing. I'm just gonna see what Venom. Oh, yeah, there's a super sick Eminem song called Venom about Venom that's in the end credits. It's not good. But it's been stuck in my head, and any time that I say Venom, I just say Venom, Venom. They ain't gonna know what hit 'em and all this stuff. So, oh my God, search faster. I found a picture of Venom. All right, off to a good start.
That's a great start.
Do you want to talk about whatever comic or whatever stupid thing you read while I look for this? Did you read Doomsday
I'll
Clock?
do my-
I don't want to hear about it. Don't tell me.
No, I haven't. I mean, no, I've read number 7.
Yeah,
I've
I
talked a
know.
little bit about that in like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, you did.
But no, I read Batman number 56, and by the time we talk about this, probably number 57 is already out. But this was an episode after, or not an episode, an issue that after 2 other comics, 54 and 55, have kind of been about Batman and Nightwing's relationship, just kind of like their just their dynamic, obviously the dynamic duo, and it was like I talked about number 54 a few podcasts ago about how that was kind of a reflection, and we talked a bit about how Dick Grayson likes cucumber sandwiches for some reason. This one is kind of like the start to sort of a new story. They end up chasing down the KG Beast, and in this conflict, they're after someone else. The KG Beast is hunting them, and the KG Beast ends up sniping. Like they basically have the bat signal, and they call. Commissioner Gordon calls Batman and Nightwing to the rooftop, and as he's like telling them like, "Hey, we have this case, I have this info for you." KG Beast is across the next building with a sniper rifle through the window, and he ends up sniping Nightwing in the head.
Okay.
That's like how the issue ends.
Is this?
Yeah.
I've read something about how this is happening, and he like loses his memory, and he's gonna start going by Rick Grayson.
Apparently so, and he's not. So this didn't start that. Like the only thing that this issue created was like, oh shit, Nightwing just got sniped in the head.
Yeah.
And apparently those repercussions are gonna follow through in the Nightwing's book, the Titans book, obviously Batman's book, and we'll see if he's gonna go by Rick Grayson now.
Yeah.
That's just probably. It seems like DC Comics has a problem with Dick right now. They got mad about Batman Damned. They don't like Nightwing's name anymore.
Somebody's got a problem with Dick over here. Yeah, no, people are getting upset about this, but it's like this is going to be a temporary thing, as it always is. Or who cares? I don't know. It's like it's still his name. Like it's still Richard. It's still. They're not like his name is.
This seems like a personality
Eduardo
change.
now.
Like he's losing memories. His personality shifting. He's forgetting skills that he had and stuff like that. So that'll be an interesting new direction for the character. But yeah, it was a really shocking way to end the story. And like as someone who has been enjoying Tom King, especially his run on Mr. Miracle, which I don't know if I told you this yet, but we're probably going to have a guest on in a future episode, probably like 2 episodes from now. I'm going to have a buddy of mine who's a stand-up comedian here in Asheville who does sort of like superhero comic book oriented comedy. And so he's going to come on to talk about Mr. Miracle.
Nope. Vetoed.
Oh, we're not doing it. we
People
might.
Tend to suck. I'm just going to say. Like that
my
brother of yours. A piece of work.
He's a rotten. Okay. But Tom King's a good writer usually, but he's been doing a lot of things lately for shock value. Like we said last time with Heroes and Crisis, how there was that huge body count involving Wally West and Roy Harper among some other characters. So I don't know. Lately it seems like Tom King's just like doing things just to like who needed Nightwing to get shot in the head? I don't know, but it happened. And here we are.
So you want to hear my Spider-Man 3
Yeah,
response?
tell me about your high school Venom.
Yeah, this is
Spider-Man
my 16 or 17-year-old Spider-Man 3 review. It's a shame this movie blew so much. I wish they had done a better job on it. That's great dialogue there. Even using Danny Elfman for the composer would have helped, for crying out loud. Big mistake there.
What's wrong with Danny Elfman?
Is he not? I don't know. I don't remember. And that 70s show guy is Venom? Please. I think we all learned that more than one main focus villain in a superhero movie was a bad idea when they made Batman and Robin. If this movie was solely about the second Goblin or solely about Venom, I would be satisfied. Unfortunately, they threw in both and Sandman too. Make Harry the nicest guy on the planet, add a dash of terrible storyline and love angle, and keep this movie from getting any good ratings. Who cares if it blew out box office records? It can kiss my ass for all I care. That was my Spider-Man 3 review. Thank you, 2007, James.
Good job.
Venom's better. Venom's better than Spider-Man 3. Although now I just really want to watch Spider-Man 3, so...
Yeah, the scene where Tobey Maguire's walking down the street.
Yeah,
and that's great.
There was actually a really funny scene in Venom. Like I'm not lying. Right after he gets Venom in him and he doesn't know why he's like really hungry and craving all this stuff, he just goes and meets his ex-girlfriend at a diner where she's eating with her current boyfriend, and it's like this super fancy restaurant, and Eddie Brock's just in like a super sweaty
hoodie.
t-shirt and a gross hoodie and all this stuff, and he hasn't showered in like 3 days or whatever, and he just gets in there and starts like trying to warn her about the bad guy stuff, but he just keeps seeing all the food, and he just grabs like a entire lobster and bites the head off and is just chewing it really grossly, and he's taking other people's food. It's really funny, and like the ending of it is just he like sees the whole tank of lobsters, like live lobsters, and he just, I'm really hot, and he just goes and sits in it, like and he's just in the water, and then he just grabs the lobster and starts eating it. And yeah, it was like a very like Jim Carrey kind of moment, like a mask moment or something, but I liked it a lot.
Sometimes you're just the crazy ex-boyfriend for a minute there.
He's got an alien symbiote inside his brain. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What else is happening?
I had one more thing that I read. I read Fight Club 2, which was
is it a
Chuck
sequel to
Palahniuk.
Fight Club?
It is.
Do we talk
and
about
written
it?
by
Do we
the
not
same
talk
guy.
about it?
The first rule of Fight Club 2 is
Is you can talk about Fight Club 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But so what was really cool about this is it was written as a graphic novel. First
on
and
purpose.
foremost.
Okay.
Yeah, on purpose, by the same writer of the original.
It did
Chuck
sound like
Palahniuk.
you were maybe bringing up like, oh, they were gonna make a Fight Club 2, but then they're like, no, and so they make it into a graphic novel. But that's cool. That
recently he's announced that he's working on Fight Club 3, but
they'll just make
that's
Fight
coming
Club 3
later.
a movie and expect you to read the comic.
No, I think it's gonna be a comic too. But this comic was really meta in a couple ways. They do talk about the movie a lot, it being a movie. They talk about like the writer Chuck Palahniuk wrote himself in the book, and there's a point near the end. Here we go, spoiling some stuff, where like it's kind of goes into the third act, and for it to move forward, Marla Singer, who in the movie was played by what's her name? You know who
Harry
I'm
Potter
about.
chick.
Yeah,
BellatrixLestrange.com.
Yeah, I know. I feel so bad that I forgot
Goth
her name.
woman, lady person.
Yeah, it is.
Cecil Beatrice.
Helena Bonham Carter, who's married to Tim Burton.
Helena.
So
Did
anyway,
you say Helena just now.
Yeah.
Continue.
Helena.
Just keep going.
Yeah. So Marla Singer, her character,
She's in the
ends
second
up having. Yeah. She and Edward Norton's character from the movie, I forget his name in that, but in this book, he's like changed his name to Sebastian for some reason. Maybe that's what it was in the first one.
The movie ends in
then,
such a like not continuable
watch
fashion.
everything
yeah,
blow
that's
up.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, she and Sebastian get married and have a kid, and Tyler Durden, for all intents and purposes, is gone. Like he's not around anymore. But actually, he is, and Fight Club is still going, and he's still like secretly manipulating events of the world. Like he's basically the one guy who's controlling every political sort of thing. Like he's controlling the world. I know, and so it's it's ridiculous.
Myself,
like he comes back and he ends up calling their son and like giving him instructions on how to make bombs over the phone.
so does it flash
And so-
forward to like years?
Oh, it's like 15 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably
good
said
chunk of
that and I
time
missed
later.
it. Yeah.
I didn't yet, but now I
Well,
did. There's you remember Robert Paulson? How it's
His
like,
name was Robert Paulson,
Robert
yeah.
Paulson. His name was Robert
Yes, it
Paulson.
was.
They do that, and when they chant it, he comes out of the ground like Solomon Grundy.
shit.
And he's got like a chunk missing out of his
That's
head,
pretty
and
cool.
he's like this zombie. It was pretty cool. So there's that, and then Marla Singer is still going to like all of her self-help support groups, you know, where it's like, well, this one's for colon cancer, this is for whatever.
a pill for
She
my blood
goes-
pressure, a pill for my diabetes. I don't even remember what this one's for. Oh yeah, dick holes. Anyway, that's what she says, right, Amanda
That's-
Waller? She's taking pills for dick holes, I think.
Yeah. So she goes to one with people who
Let's move
has
away from that.
I know. It's HGPS, which is the Hutchinson Gilford. I had to Google
Gilbert
this.
Godfrey disease.
Progeria syndrome. I probably didn't say that right, but it's the
Okay.
one where kids age too fast. It's like you
Ah,
probably would
alright.
recognize
Okay.
someone who had
Anti-baby
that. And it's,
doll disease.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like a Benjamin Button. I don't know. But what's really crazy is she like goes to this scenario, and it's like all these kids who aged too quickly, and they have like this Make-A-Wish sort of thing, and they all like she convinces the whole self-help group to use their Make-A-Wish to get like access to these huge arsenals of weapons, and ends up like militarizing these people with this debilitating deadly disease to go to like this foreign country and parachute out of a helicopter, and they end up like destabilizing.
This is a really bizarre sequel.
It was insane, but it was a really fun read.
That's
all I'm gonna say about
adding
it.
like supernatural elements and
breaking the fourth wall with like, well, I mean, not the fourth wall necessarily, but it's being meta with
breaking
the fact
the
that
third wall.
Chuck Palahniuk,
Yeah.
like she has to call the writer to figure out what to do next, and that's like it's pretty crazy.
So
The whole time he's at a
insane.
book club. Yeah, it is. He's at a book club with these three women who are all like, "Stop ripping off our ideas for your next book." That's always
reading the
pretty funny.
script for this book and knowing what we're doing. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a speaking of all this kind of thing. There's a Deadpool. They're re-releasing Deadpool 2 at Christmas time, and it's a PG version of the movie. So it's like a family version. But here's like I thought that was stupid until I heard that Fred Savage is reprising his character from he played the little boy in Princess Bride, who's being read the story of Princess Bride. He's reprising his role as that kid, like as a grown man, and he's being read the story of Deadpool 2 from Deadpool. Like Deadpool is reading him the story, and it's the PG
awesome.
version of the movie. So I was like, I have to go see it
That's
again,
so
I guess.
good.
Yeah.
I guess so. Oh, that's cool. Deadpool 2 is such a good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Man.
We got
Well done,
one.
Ryan Reynolds.
We have one letter of sorts, a maily thing. I gotta get to it.
Our Untitled Mail segment.
Yeah. Oh, thanks iPhone software update for making my albums horizontal now instead of vertical. That definitely was broken. Fix that. Okay. Joshua Hammonds. He's writes in a lot of stuff. I like it when the same people write in stuff, and I'm definitely gonna read it. But maybe if you're listening and you never wrote something to us, think of something you'd like to ask us, and we'll maybe do it. So he says, "Hey DCAU Watchtower," that's us. I was just curious why, when you guys do a timeline on the DCAU, why or what made you guys use years instead of just saying what order things came in. To me, using the years is basically the exact years these DCAU shows came out. So I guess he's asking, why do a timeline of time instead of just figuring out the chronology,
Yeah. But I guess the answer is there are hardcore dates.
Yeah.
In the shows.
It is possible, so why not, I guess, is the basic answer.
Mm-hmm. Even though they do line ups closely to when the shows came out.
Yeah, but not
except
exactly,
Batman
Beyond. Yeah. I think the main, the goal of doing the timeline in general is to provide a chronological order for everything so that you can, if you decide, I'd like to watch all of the DCAU in chronological order, then we have made that a thing that you can, now you know what to do, kind of thing.
Now it's there. It wasn't there before.
But it's it's also really the only way to do that correctly is to do it by time. Because if you were just Bane's in this episode and he references another episode later, or he references the previous episode next time we see him or something like that, then obviously those two episodes go in that order. But what do you put in between it? So the only way to really figure that out is to, we know these solid years, and then from there figure out how many months away things are, because people actually say months or seasons, holidays, and stuff like that. So
right.
Because we can, okay? That's why.
That's a great answer.
Yes, we can. Well, Obama 2008. That's the end of the show, you people.
That's the show.
I guess so. I read Venom this week, and I didn't have any news, so it was a great week.
I hope I made up for it. Well, let us know what you want us to do next week. I think we might be recording on Halloween.
Ooh.
We got a Halloween episode.
Ooh. Let me
Oh,
double check.
it'll
that.
be released after Halloween.
Yeah, we are. We are
so-
recording on Halloween. Yeah, it'll be a spooky
Well,
old
it
episode.
probably won't be on Halloween, but it'll be
Uh.
close to Halloween. We can make it a spooky episode.
Yeah. Well, there's something else that's supposed to be happening on Halloween, but I don't want to say what it is just in case it does.
The end of the world?
Yeah.
Because it would make you look stupid.
Third
just like
time's the charm, am I right?
2012.
Yeah, Y2K 2012.
There-
10/31/18. It's a little harder to say, but you know.
Oh, I finally realized what you're talking about.
What are you talking? Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, so
It's a
thanks,
surprise.
Thanks for listening, everybody. If you listen to this show and you're like, "This was good," thanks, because it's not. But you can tell other people about it, and then they can also listen to it. That's how it works in the field of podcasting. And
It's like they said in Batman
Uh-huh.
89. Tell all your friends about me.
yeah, we should use that clip. It's gonna happen now.
It's-
Anyway,
okay.
I should probably reference my document that tells me what to say at the ends of episodes because I can never remember. Why'd they update this app too? There's so many app updates. I don't know where anything is.
Oh,
Okay.
you should just lose your phone like me.
Yeah.
Just lose it.
If you don't have a phone, you can't update your apps.
Exactly.
We did the mail segment. Here's a shout out. Adam Mullen.
Hey.
He does the music for us.
Happy birthday, Adam.
Yeah. As is what?
I don't know. I'm sure it happened.
It happened this year, I think. Yeah. He's at musica-atomica.com. That's where you can, if you like his music. He does the Vanishing Point theme. Everybody seems to like that. He also does you got it. He also does all the Watchtower Database intro music and the intro music to this and like any other music you hear on the channel that's not from the shows. If you can hire him to write music for you, I think.
Really?
We are on social media at DCAU Watchtower. That's not DCEU Watchtower, because if you'll notice, we don't talk about that very often. So
Sometimes.
don't go there. Also, info@watchtowerdatabase.com. Those are the two ways you can send us some things to talk about or letter segment-y stuff. We're out every other Monday. This podcast is, on iTunes and YouTube, and maybe other things in the future, because we keep saying that, and I don't know, question mark.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're also working on a website.
Yeah, we've been working on that for a couple days now. Video schedule. It's Sunday. I was like, what's the first day in the order? Sunday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday. Then Sunday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday. And then Sunday, and then Thursday, and then Monday, and then Tuesday, then Sunday. Then Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday. Then it's Sunday. No. Oh, man, I messed it up.
It's gonna. We might be shifting it around, and then.
You're right.
for the new
Actually,
year.
I might have said
a
all
little-
of them already. I might have said
It's
all the
possible,
ones that
yeah.
are left. Yeah.
We got a little New Year shuffle going on.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, we'll probably talk more about that later.
Yeah, once we know exactly what we're doing. But, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Watchtower Database. You're probably listening to this on that YouTube channel because based on our numbers from iTunes, like 3 people listen to it on iTunes and hundreds on YouTube. So you can also support us at patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. That's DCAU Watchtower. There's lots of cool stuff over there. You can see videos a day early. You can vote for what video you want next. You can
Vote. Voting is important.
Voting is very
Vote.
important at this time
Especially
of year.
on November 6th. That's a good voting day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll plug that again on the next episode.
Yeah, that'll be a day after the next episode comes out. Wait, yeah. Yeah, there's also, what else is there? You can get personalized artwork from yours truly. You can talk with me and Ted once a month on a live thing. I guess we probably need to do that soon for this month.
Yeah.
And that's it, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
We've reached the end of the episode.
We have.
What was the
Yeah,
inside
today-
joke this time that you end the episode on? I don't even... Venom.
Yeah, that's good. We can save that one for a different day. Today is not that day. That's the joke. That's the joke. There it is.
All right. Somehow you remember what we said earlier in the episode.
Comedy is
never
repetition.
I'll hear it later when I edit it. All right. Thanks,
All right,
thanks
I'm out.
everybody. See you in the future. Goodbye.
Bye.